Hello, people of the worldwide interweb. Today on the workbench we have this beautiful porcelain clock. I believe the movement in here is junghans, and yeah, I'm probably butchering that because I do not speak German. But it features a nice little beveled glass on the front here. Then we have some sort of Art Deco, I would say, sort of motif over here. And it looks to be like might actually be hand painted. I just cannot believe how good this looks for its age. And got it for $11. All in all, not too bad. So Ruth is stamped on the back. Looked on the internet with, I found some clocks that were similar, but no exact match. So I don't know much about this. If anyone can shed any light on this, it would be well appreciated. So I did wind it up, and it does seem to run for a little moment, but then it just stops. So I'm just guessing the movement is probably just very dirty and has not been serviced in quite a while. So we're going to give it a service and see what that does to it. And we also need to make some sort of key. I would be able to use the winding keys for pocket watches to move the hands to set the time. But it would be nice to have something permanent. So I'll probably have to step out to the shop and make that at some point. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Now, to remove the back plate on this clock, we have to take off 3 fasteners and also the knob to wind up the clock. Excuse me. Put that porcelain off to the side, someplace safe. And to take off this bezel, we have 3 small screws. And wow, is that brass ever disgusting? It really needs a cleaning. And that dial, well, you'll see. I don't end up using it again. I'm just using my hand to pull off these, the minute and hour hand. These tapered pins, some of them were pretty stubborn. If you can see, I had to take out that micro hammer. And out comes the escapement and the hairspring. And all the wheels come out, as dirty as they are. And just like that, the movement is 100% taken apart. This is just a cleaning solution that I made at home, and what I'm doing here, it's hard to see because I have it in such high speed here, but I'm pegging each one of the holes, and that is a process of using a wooden stick that has been sharpened to essentially clean out all of the pivot points to remove any debris and old grease that might actually be in there. And then just giving everything a good solid scrub. After this, I let everything dry 100%. First, rinse, and then dried 100%. And then it's time for reassembly and oil. We're going to put the main spring back in place, then pop back in all those other little wheels. And boy, oh boy, did that brass ever clean up nice. Pretty happy with the way it turned out. Now to put the back plate back on, and this is always the tricky part. I'll line everything up, all those pivots. Make sure you're not pinching anything. It's always a challenge, but definitely this one is a lot easier than some of the other clocks I've taken apart. You know, clocks with a chiming system. Oh boy, yeah. Double the pivots to line up. And just like that, all the pivots are back in place. Now, we'll oil everything up. And now it's time to put the balance staff back in and rehook up that hairspring. Always tricky. I didn't have any close-up video of that. Nothing that was worth seeing anyways. But anyways, I eventually got it all hooked up. Now this is just a steel bracket that holds the dial in place. A couple of screws for that. And there's these tiny little nails that hold the dial in place. And at the end of the video, I'll explain what I did. But you can see off to the left there that I have pictures of the dial. On goes the hour hand and the minute hand. Now the screws that hold the bezel in place and all the beveled glass and everything. And she's almost ready to pop back into the porcelain. Now it's off to the shop, to the lathe, to make a knob to set the time, which is the knob that was missing. You'll see at the end where that goes. If you ever get the chance to work on a lathe, it's actually kind of a fun process. I wish the camera was focusing a little bit better on this so you could see the detail, but such is life, and this is what we got. I'll have to see if there's a macro lens setting for this new camera that I have, and hopefully in the future we can get a little bit more detail in there. Squaring it up again. And now this is what we call a knurling tool, and this will give the knob a little bit of grip so that you can turn it more easily. And maybe you've seen that my Morse taper started slipping out, so I had to quickly shut that off and slam that back in. Yeah, it's never good when that happens. So always be safe. Make sure everything is in its place. A bit of cutting oil. Just taking a file to make the knob itself just a little bit more square and a little bit more comfortable for the fingers. And then I'll take this thing over to the vise and I will cut an X pattern in it, because the mating surface is actually a square drive. And so if I cut an X into it, it'll be far easier to for it to mate into something that's square. Now, I probably should have used a different blade on my my jeweler's saw there, but that's what I had out in the shop that day, and it did work, but I should have used a unidirectional blade instead of one of these. This blade is made to go in any direction, and it makes a bigger curve, and it kind of does not follow where you want it to go if you're not careful. And now here I have the world's smallest square file, and I'm just trying to make the end of the knob square to accept the square drive on the back of the clock. And now we'll use some jeweler's rouge and just polish up this knob right here. And once that's done, it's pretty much just time to clean it up, and yeah, that clock is pretty much ready to go back together. Here we have a picture of the movement working, and also there's a picture of the knob I made to set the time. Hopefully you can see that in the video there, and we have a nice clean movement. What I ended up doing was going to a photography shop locally, and they printed me up a whole bunch of these dials. This is just a stock image that I found online, and so she had to do a couple of different sizes, and eventually we came to one that was the right size. And then what I did is I just laminated it and then cut it to size and put it in place. But not to worry, I kept the original dial, and it is safely nestled inside of here between two pieces of cardboard. So if someone ever wanted to restore it to its former glory with the decrepit dial, they could also do that. But I personally think that this new dial looks a lot better, and it's a lot easier to read. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this restoration, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching.